Aloha artists, Miss Maggie here. Today I want to introduce you to one of my favorite artists, Herb Kawainui Kane. I would even argue that he is the most influential artist of all of Hawaii. Influential means that he has had the largest impact on all of our lives. How has an artist done that? Well, we'll find out today. And he isn't only just an artist. He is an artist, historian, and an inventor. And even more, I bet you have already seen his art before. For instance, if you've ever seen this book here, Hawaiians of Old, this is his artwork on the cover and throughout the book. His artwork shares what he imagines ancient Hawaii to look like. He used his powers as a historian and as an artist to share with us what it was like. And I also said that Herb Kawainui Kane was an inventor, right? Well, what did he invent? Oh, you know this, actually. He invented a canoe. He brought it back from the past. This canoe's name is Hokulea. How did he do this? How do you invent a canoe? Well, Herb Kane, because he was a historian, because he studied the past, he knew that for hundreds of years, the Hawaiian people had little canoes, ones that were perfect for going inter-island, but not for going thousands of miles to get to Tahiti. But he knew from the history and the stories that a long time ago, we had those canoes here in Hawaii, and that is how the Polynesians sailed all of the Pacific Ocean. And so he used his powers of observation, looking closely as an artist at canoes from other parts of the Pacific, and figured out what the Hawaiian canoe would look like. And he drew it. He used his powers as an artist to inspire people to go, wow, look at this canoe here. What do you think? What if we built it? And his artwork was so beautiful and so detailed that he inspired people to build the canoe, and that canoe became Hokulea. And of course, Hokulea then, they used traditional navigation to sail it to Tahiti and back, connecting the Polynesian people across the Pacific. And since it's been all over the Pacific and even Malama Hanua, right around planet Earth. And so today, we are going to use our powers of observation and expression to draw our own Hokulea. Okay? Well, let's see what supplies we are going to need for that. For our supplies today, you are going to want a large drawing paper, a pencil, a ruler would be useful. An eraser is always nice to have on hand. And today, we want to color our artwork, we want to blend colors, and we want to color the whole paper, but we're also going to have some little details we don't want to lose. So I'm going to recommend colored pencils. If you want to use a different art supplies where you still blend, you still color your whole paper, and you are careful and do your best work with it, then a different type would be fine, but I'm going to show today with colored pencils. Sound good? So go get your supplies, large drawing paper, pencil, ruler, eraser, and colored pencils, and meet me right back here. So in Herb Kane's artwork, he expressed what it felt like to be out on the ocean sailing in a double-hulled canoe. But he also had to understand how to build one and what all the pieces were. This picture here shows what all the different parts of Hokulea are called, both in English and Hawaiian. So that is useful, but he also had something called scantlings. Scantlings are the plans that are used to build a boat. Just like an architect makes plans to build a house, this is what you create to build a boat or a double-hulled canoe like Hokulea. So we're going to use this part here to understand the pieces of the canoe and use some steps along the way to have what the shapes are of Hokulea, and then you'll get to imagine what it is like out sailing it. What is the sky like? What is the ocean like? How strong is the breeze? What sort of animals are you seeing out there? What did you bring with you on your canoe voyage? But let's start with the drawing. One thing I'll say though is that there are so many paintings and pictures of Hokulea that if you want to do a different angle on it, you can. Just look at the link that I have right here for you too. And so with that, let's begin drawing Hokulea. Whatever picture of Hokulea you choose to draw from, we are going to want to use our powers of observation to notice a couple things. One thing we're going to do is notice where are the lines straight and where are they curved. And the other thing we're going to look for is where the lines connect. And if we can study those sorts of details, then we will be able to draw Hokulea. So I have my pencil, I have my ruler, and I have my eraser. While this diagram has a lot of detail in it, let's look at a simpler one so we can notice even clearer. Where are the lines straight? Where are they curved? And where do the lines connect? I am going to start with this straight line on the hull, or the kuamo'o. It has other names as well. And I'm doing my best to learn the Hawaiian names alongside the English names for the part of the boat. And so here is that line there, and I'm going to decide how large is my canoe going to be on my paper. My paper's a little bit bigger here. I have it horizontal, but so it will all fit on the screen for you. I'm going to make my canoe as large as I can in the parts that we can see here. And so that first line, I'm going to make it go from here to there. There is that first straight line. Now, what about the bottom of the kuamo'o, the bottom of the hull? I see it's curved, then it's pretty straight, and then it's curved again, connecting right there. How far down should I go? I'm going to look carefully and see. I am sketching my lines. I'm going a little bit dark so you can see my lines, but you go as light as you can until you are sure about your lines. It's straight down here at the bottom, so I'm going to help myself out with the ruler and straighten that out. Okay, what about these parts here? The manu ihu and the manu hope, the front and the back of these hulls. They are straight, but is it straight vertical up? No, it's got a little bit of an angle there, doesn't it? So I'm going to go at a little bit of an angle and think, well, how tall should I make it for my canoe? I think about that tall. And this one, the back one, the manu hope, is a little bit taller. So if this one was a 1/2 inch, this one's going to be a 1/2 inch and a bit more. There we go. I see I have a curve here, and it is straight across. There we go. I've got that line that goes straight across, and let me connect to it. I see that is narrow, and then it curves down into it. Ooh, I think I need it to be a little higher there. See how I'm adjusting it as I go? And this one's a little bit thicker and curved before it connects. Okay, I am adjusting as I go. I can get rid of lines as I don't need them, but generally I get the right line before I get rid of the line that I don't want. And remember, your canoe is going to come out differently, but hopefully this will help your eyes notice the different parts and the most important details so that yours looks like Hokulea and looks like it could sail all the way to Tahiti or beyond. Okay, let's do the masts, the kia mua and the kia hope there. Like I noticed for the first time when I looked at the diagram that the way it's drawn is that it is wider here and narrower there. So I'm going to draw two lines that come together to a point. Like if I was to cut down a tree for the mast, that tree would be skinnier up at the top, right? And I know it's a little bit back from the front, and this one's further back. And so if I look where the middle is, I can see the back one is past that. And the front one is closer to the front than the middle. So there's the middle, got one here and one here. And do you notice that one mast is taller than the other? So, what would be the best height for it? I think it's about as tall as it is back for that one. Wow, sometimes I can find parts that are the same length, and that helps me measure approximately how large to make it. And so my first mast, my kia mua, is going to go up to that point right there. But remember how I said it's actually two lines? Let's see. I'm going to make one there and just a tiny bit off so that it comes to a point and it has a little bit of thickness at the bottom. There we go. That works. And that was my first mark that I made. I'm a little off from it, but it works, okay? And then this one is shorter. So it's going to be about there. So I've got that one that tall and that one that tall. And at any time, if you need to slow down, you can always stop the video. You can watch a part again, see what you notice, and put in the details that are important to you. Okay? This hopefully helps you notice the important parts of Hokulea, but you are your own artist as well. So I have those there. And then we have these wonderful curves of the sail. And sometimes Hokulea has triangle sails. You'll notice that in some photos, but the crab claw sails are just so beautiful. And so I see that the curve, the sail, comes out about that far. Comes from the top, goes down and up there, and then it comes down almost to there. A nice big curve. Sketch out that curve. Find a nice curve that you like for how much the wind is blowing in those sails in your artwork. Same thing over here. It's a little bit smaller, a little bit further down. Got that. And back like that. And see how I'm adjusting my lines, getting the lines that I like? My first line isn't generally the best line that I can do. So I keep adjusting and I find what I like. There aren't any mistakes. It really is just an opportunity to be creative. And that's what they had to do when they learned to sail Hokulea as well. They had to keep learning and keep figuring out how the ancient Polynesians built these canoes and also sailed them and used traditional navigation. They found people to learn from. They tried things out on their own. They experimented. Sometimes they failed, but in the end, they succeeded. So this and this look very similar. Now, what if we add a couple more details? Because those canoes really do have more details than just the hull here and two sails, right? So now it's your turn to look closely at where are the lines straight, where are they curved, and where do they connect? What details seem important to you to include? I'm including the big paddle used for steering there and the railing, and then after that I'm going to include all of the lines, that's what they're called, the rigging that helps hold up the sails and furl and unfurl them. I'm looking at where those lines connect. You you might notice different details. You might even choose to look at a different photograph or painting of Hokulea to get ideas as to what you want to add to it to make it ready to voyage across the ocean. I can't wait to see how you express Hokulea, how you are inspired by this amazing canoe and the beautiful creation of Herb Kawainui Kane. When you really study these diagrams, you can kind of start to get how the canoe works just by looking at it. I feel like I have most of the details in. I'm going to add one more thing, and I'll leave this as an option for you. But if you look back at this canoe, see how it really has two hulls? This is showing from a different angle, where you have one hull here, the platform, and the one behind. If I'm going to show people on my canoe and what they're bringing with them and everything, having the second hull might be helpful. This one was from the Scantling, the architectural drawings for the boat, so they just showed one angle for this. But I think I can kind of guess how to make it look like there's the two canoe hulls here. I'm going to draw this canoe hull again, peeking out behind. How am I going to do that? Well, watch this. See this line right here? I'm going to make it happen again, just like that. I'm going to have that part come down, that part right there, and this part go across. It's going to go behind the sails, behind the railing, behind the railing. The lines are just little ropes, so that doesn't matter. And then, because this part was forward, this part, the aft of the hull, the back of the hull, is also going to stick up. Now you can see that it has two hulls. Neat, huh? And then you have a spot where people can stand on it. You can have the animals and the plants that the Polynesians brought with them to Hawaii. You have all those options. So look at your drawing of Hokulea and our scantlings, our plans for it. Are there any other details that it would be important to you to include in? Are there any parts that you want to adjust? Look at where the lines are straight, where are they curved, and where do they connect. You can keep making some changes, and you can even stop the video and keep working. But if you feel like your details are where you want them to be, then we are ready for the next part. You've used your powers of observation to communicate about Hokulea. Now we are going to express what it feels like to be on the canoe for this day. I want you to think, what is the ocean like this day? Are the waves big? Is the ocean calm? What do you want that to be like? Because your canoe is at sea. What are those waves doing? I have it pretty calm there, but you see some of the hull is in the water. That's how it floats. And I also want to think about where the horizon should be. The horizon, that straightest line straight across. This is where you definitely need your ruler. I'm going to put it straight across here, but it's not going to go through the sails because the sails are in front. And that line is perfectly straight across. Is there an island on the horizon? Are they coming up on Maui? Are they coming up on Aotearoa? Did they sail to New Zealand? Are there clouds? Are there birds out there? Did they see a kolea that is looking for the island it is heading to? What is it? Now, how about people? The canoe's not sailing itself. And we're doing too much careful work here to put stick figure in this drawing. And we've been learning to draw people using proportion. But they're going to be small, aren't they? They'll be about that big in mine. So let's do something in between. Let's think about proportion. Let's think about the body parts. But we don't have to measure out every part, okay? So I want to have that navigator up here at the front. And so I've got his head, I've got his body, I've got his hips, I've got his legs coming down, and he is looking there. What are other people doing on your canoe? Are they maybe looking after the animals? What animals are they bringing with them on the canoe? Maybe this person is making sure that the pig is all right. Maybe these people are taking care of something over here. See how I'm drawing their body, their hips, their legs. What are their arms doing? Their arms are coming from their shoulders. But I don't have every detail in there. They're small. This person's working on the rigging. That person's helping. And so I have some of that. Some canoes would have little hollies on them so you could get out of the sun. In Hokulea, they had covered sleeping areas. You decide what they should have. Maybe they have some baskets of the fruit that they brought. Maybe they have ulu in them. Maybe they are bringing some kala with them. I bet they have lots of different things they are bringing with them. I think this bottom part of the canoe I'm going to erase unless you want to draw what's happening under the ocean too. Ooh, maybe there's a mono under there, a shark, or some other amazing ocean animal. It is up to you how you now express this. Is it daytime? Is it nighttime? Is it sunset? What is it going to be in your artwork? I can't wait to know. Okay? Once you have all of those details in there, we are going to color. And that coloring will also help us know what the weather is like and what the time of day is. One way that I love to draw Hokulea is at night underneath the stars. And so that would be very different colors than if it was daytime. You decide for your artwork. I'm going to get my colored pencils ready. And if you remember from our last time that we used colored pencils, that we learned some techniques that will really help your artwork pop. So with our colored pencils techniques on the back or a scrap piece of paper, you might want to just warm up with me on this. It will help out. And so our colored pencil technique, first, you always want to outline your lines. Go over them, make them pop. You could, of course, use a Sharpie for this, but if we're doing all colored pencils, then I'm just going to do it straight with the colored pencil. And then you also want to think about direction, how your colored pencil is moving on the paper. Most of the time, you want to keep it in the same direction. If something's curved, I might do a curved mark, but I am thinking about the direction of my colored pencil. And of course, hard to soft with one colored pencil, you can get so many values, both dark and medium and even super, super light. And that gives you a lot of variety in how you color. And then finally, blending. I'm going to practice this hard to soft one more time with this color, and then I'm going to try it with another color and see how that comes together. I think I will do this blue. And so I'm going to go hard to soft in the opposite direction and see how those two colors blend together. my red, orange, and my blue. That's making an interesting color. I think a different red and blue might have made a better purple, but no matter, I can practice blending a lot on my paper. Ooh, I like that green. Hard to soft. I'm going to do a yellow with that and see what that looks like. Oh yeah, there's so much opportunity when I blend. Yes. Okay, so remember, as you color, outline, direction, hard, soft, and blend. Those 4 techniques are going to help your artwork come alive. And so, for me, I am going to start with some outlining. And I usually outline with a color that I think is going to be in that part of the artwork. And so not everything's going to get outlined with the same color, but some of the canoe will be brown. And that will help us really notice those details. And if it's something really small, like that, it might just get colored in if that's the right color. Not everything, but maybe that part there makes sense for it to be a dark brown. And that part there. And I think I want the masks to be a different color so that they stand out. Ooh, I like that brown being in there too. And yeah, they're gonna get filled in, but it helps it look a little bit different. I'll come back to that color, but I think I like that color in there. And a lot of times Hokulea uses red sails that I think are just so beautiful. In ancient Hawaii, the sails were made out of lauhala. That would have had to have been some incredible weaving. And so they wouldn't have been red probably in that case. But you get to decide for yourself how you're going to do your artwork here. Okay, I've got those parts there. I'm going to add some of the ocean to this. That's the blue there, but I want some other blues in my outlining. So this is a pretty calm day that I have. Maybe I've got a little bit of wind waves there. Ooh, I just noticed some parts that I forgot. Do you see the second hull there? And I started to put a little holly in there, and then I got distracted. It's always good to go back and double check what you're making. Okay, I've got some of that holly there. I think it needs some of that brown to help it stand out. And my people, let's give those people some color too. And if something is so small that you can't outline it, well, that outlining can just be what fills it in. Take your time, add those details in that help your Hokulea canoe come alive, as well as those details elsewhere, such as the horizon. And I've got an island there on the horizon. What color are islands when they're at a distance? Are they really green and brown when you see them off on the horizon? Think about when you look at Ho'olave or Lanai or Molokai far away. What colors do you notice? I notice a lot of sort of grays and purples. They're far away. So I'm going to do an outline with some purple there. And then I'll probably mix it with gray when I do it. So I have most of my outline, and I'm even starting to color. I'm going to keep going with that. And so now I'm going to think about direction, hard and soft, and blending. I decided that I like this dark color mostly for down here. And I went at sort of an angle with my color pencil, so I'm sticking with that mostly. And I've got sort of a medium amount of pressure there, but I definitely want some of these other browns in there to even it out, put it in there. And an interesting thing is that, of course, the ocean will have some blue in it, but water, if you put in a glass of water, it's not blue, right? Water is clear, but it is also a mirror. And so some of this brown I'm going to put down in the water, just a little bit. And some of that red that's in the sails, I'm going to have those sails be hard, soft, and then hard again. And that will give them a feeling of movement and being curved. So I've got hard and soft there, but let's give it a little mixing, a little blending too. I'm gonna put a little bit of that purple in here. Oh, that's a blue actually, but I kind of like that, but I think I'll like the purple better. Yeah. It's sort of a orange red, and so it's not going to blend with the purple to be a brilliant color, but I think it'll be a nice sort of subdued brownish red there with the purple in there. But I think it needs some sunlight hitting on the sails there. Ooh, yes, a little bit of sunlight there. Ooh, I love that. I think I need some sunlight on the canoe too. Ooh, that yellow is really nice. Too bright, but I'll blend with it. I'm going sort of medium on there, but making sure I fill in the whole area. Doing that back part there too, though I will need another color in there. And here's this yellow ochre I have. You'll have different colors in your set. And I'm leaving some parts with some lighter color in there because that will stand out even more. And I think I need some red-brown mixed in for over here so I can tell the difference of what's happening. Ooh, and this part here, and that's actually under the waves, but I'll let it shine through a little bit right there. I think that's coming together. You can keep blending colors on top. Like I like some red-brown in that area there too. And oh, that's right, I was gonna put some of these colors into the ocean just a little bit because they are reflecting in. And so I've got those sails reflecting into the water there, just a little bit. And now I think I'm ready to do the ocean, the sky, and the island. And so, I think I'm gonna have it so that this is like early morning. The sunlight is starting to come up over the mountain, maybe like it's coming over Hokulea. So I'm putting some yellow in the sky and also reflecting off the water there. And then over here where it's closer, where I can see the extra each wave, I'm going to give it a lot of yellow there. Don't worry, it's not going to be all yellow, but that is giving it a neat feel and a little bit glowing on the mountain. And so did you see how I had control, but I also did that pretty quickly, didn't I? And so I thought, okay, how hard am I going? And I went smoothly over an area, except where I want it to be more in some places and less in others. And I really already outlined, I thought about direction. I didn't just go any which way. I thought how hard, how soft. Some parts are harder, some parts are softer, and now I'm going to blend in different ways, in different spots. That mountain is going to have some purple in it, and that purple is darker. So that one I really need to pay attention to direction even more, and hard to soft even more, because it really can go very dark if I want it to. And so I've got some darker areas, some light, a little bit in the cloud there, and maybe a little bit of reflection in the water there. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And I want some of that purple over here because the sun's coming this way. This is going to be in shadow. Yeah. Ooh, I like that. Little bit more purple. I put a little in there, but that purple is going to make it have contrast. It's like putting black in, only the black's not overtaking it all. And so then I'm going to put some in the water there too. And now it is morning time. So we don't just have yellow in the sky. We're going to have some blue too. And so I am going smooth with my blue. Smooth with my blue there, filling it in. Making sure no areas are darker than others. That's why I'm paying attention to direction and hard and soft. And if I'm going lightly, it's pretty easy to not go over parts that I don't want to. If I go into those sails a little bit, it's not really showing up anyways. I'm letting it blend over here. I'm putting a little bit into my mountain. Ooh, I like that blue in the mountain. A little bit in the cloud too. And then I'm going to put it into the water. I'm going hard to soft here. And I might blend more colors in. But that hard to soft, filling it in. See how if I put my finger there, it helps keep the color pencil out of where I don't want it. Like not going right over the navigator there. And so I've got where the sunlight's hitting the water, where it's a little bit darker. And now up here, what's the direction going to be? I want to show the waves there, though really I'm doing mine on one of those mornings that is just about glassy. It's got just the littlest ripple in the water, and maybe over here I need a little bit of ripple in the water because I do have it in the foreground. And I'm going right off my page so that the whole thing is filled in. And if you're like, oh, this filling in is getting to be so much, well, take one of your colors you're blending and just let it have a soft glow right off the page. If you're doing a sunset, maybe there's more orange in there. I think for morning time, that yellow is really nice. I think I need some more of that color in here. And I think I need more of that red in there, reflecting the sails. And I'm not making the shape of the sails, but I am making sort of red here and red there. And where'd my purple go? That's my blue that looks like a purple. I'll use that in a moment. Here's my purple. I'm gonna put more of that purple in the waves too, where it's in shadow. But yeah, I want some of this darker blue in there as well. Thinking, where does it need more blue? Where does it need more yellow? What direction am I going in? Where does it need to be darker? There might be some spots that really need some dark color in the water so that the other parts look even brighter, right? So I think we are just about there, I blended colors. I filled in the entire paper, and I was very careful in using my art supplies to make the details show up. If you use something other than colored pencils, I hope you still did those 3 things. Colored the whole paper, blended colors, and used careful details to make all of those important parts show up. Now, oh, wow, yeah. A little more on there. I'm always finding more. Look at your artwork and see what else are you noticing. Does it need a little bit more of something? I think mine needs just a tiny bit more, but it is just about there. Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. What I want to know now is what it feels like to be sailing on this canoe. So that is your reflection question. Imagine you are one of these people on your canoe. I want to know what you see, what you feel, what you hear. What's the weather look like? Express everything that is going on around you. This could be a paragraph, it could be a whole story, really. But tell us in words about being on the canoe that you drew. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to hear about the voyage that you are on. Remember to take care of your art supplies. Put them away. Take a photo of your artwork, share it with your teacher, put it on Padlet so I can see it too. I love seeing your artwork. Thank you so much when you post it. And I'll see you next week with another art lesson. Ahui ho!